What's up, y'all? Toya here, and I am back with another video for y'all. Before we get into the video, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Alright, y'all. So I know y'all probably looking at this title like, wait, don't get into gig work. Isn't that what this channel is all about? Listen, this video is going to be for specific individuals, and that's going to be for those who are thinking about gig work and for those who might have been in gig work for a bit and y'all have been in it for the wrong reasons. So don't worry, this is just here to separate the real from the fake, okay? Now, I was able to identify two major reasons as to why gig work might not be for you. And yes, there are definitely a plethora of other reasons, but I want to point out these two major factors because these can literally make or break a person as far as whether or not they're built for this. All right, so let's go ahead and get into reason number one. You do not want to put in that work. Now, right off the bat, I bet there are some people that are like, what do you mean not put in the work? You know, I can go out there for 12 hours, 14, 16 hours if I need to. We are not talking about that. We are talking about before you even hit the street, before you even get the app installed. Right at the very beginning when you are looking into these apps. Now, before I get too into it, let me give you an example, okay? Now, I think growing up, most of us had to show our work on our math problems in school, right? Depending on the teacher, you couldn't just put the answer on your homework, okay? You might have copied it from somebody and you just don't really have an understanding on how to solve that math problem, right? Yeah, you might have been able to get away with it for a while, but come test time, you were screwed. You didn't know how to work those math problems because you were just given the answer. And the same thing applies here as well. You have a lot of individuals that'll come onto these videos, my videos, other GigTubers videos, and they ask the number one most common question. What is this app? What app is this? And that shows me two things. One, you didn't actually watch the video. And two, you don't even want to put in that work to watch a 10 or 15 minute video to figure out what the app is. You just want the answer given to you. And I'm kind of thinking about changing up my format on my video titles because on all of my delivery videos, I do have the app name in the title. I guarantee you, if I remove that from my videos, I would get so many more comments asking, what is this app? How do I sign up for this app? What is it? And I probably say it about 2 or 3 times in the video. That just shows that you're not even watching the video. You're probably just clicking through, trying to figure out the name and not actually get an understanding on what this app is all about. And you know, it's one thing to, ask a question for understanding and to take that information and apply it, right? But, like I said, it's one thing to have that and just ask for the answer and you not even put in that groundwork, okay? We are not here to hold anybody's hand, all right? I'm here for educational purposes. I'm here to put people on, but I am not gonna hold your hand through this entire process. So if you can't even take the time to watch a whole video through, whether it's 10, 15 minutes, or even just look at the title, and you asking, what is this app? You ain't built for this. You can't even put in the basic of the basics, nah. And funny story really quick, I had posted the video about my Amazon policy violation. I think this was like late summer going into the fall. And about a month or so later, somebody had commented and they were like, oh, hey, I got a violation, what do I do? And I'm like, okay, this video clearly shows that I contacted support. So I told them, I was like, you gotta contact support, bro. I can't help you. And then they responded, and I can't remember exactly everything they said, but they were like, well, I did, and then this and that, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, bro, well, I don't know what you expect me to do. I am not Amazon support. And since I didn't have anything else to say, this same individual found my TikTok account and asked the same question. And this is around the time when I first started posting my shorts on other platforms. I started posting on TikTok and Instagram. This person found me on TikTok to ask me the same question. Now, if you would have taken that same energy that you used to track me down on a completely different platform, I'm pretty sure you would have found your answer to your question, okay? And that's just a prime example right there. You put so much emphasis on these creators to help you and provide you the information, provide you the answers. No, you have to go out there and do it yourself. I'm voluntarily giving you free information on how to better your life, how to get these apps, how they work, and all of that. This is free content. You can't can't get any better than that. If you want more than that, and I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. But like I said, if you ain't willing to go ahead and put in that work in the beginning, do your research and all of that, like you ain't gonna make it out there on the road. You're not gonna make it. Every single day, I'm watching other creators. I'm watching their perspectives. I'm watching to see, what are some other apps that I might be able to try on my market. I'm constantly trying to elevate myself. You can't just sit up here and wait for somebody to go ahead and give you the keys because, that's not how life works. That's not how life works. You got to go out there. You got to get it yourself. Nobody's out here to hold your hand, because once you do get out there, it's going to be a completely different monster. And this kind of leads me to the second major reason, and that's going to be because everybody cannot handle independence. Now, having independence is easier said than done. It looks great on the outside. You can turn on the app when you want to. You can go to work when you want to. All of that. That sounds fine and dandy, right? Okay, but there's a lot more to it than you think, okay? So for one, as an independent contractor, you are going to be responsible for your own taxes. You're going to be responsible for your health insurance. You're going to be responsible for the maintenance on your vehicle, the gas, all of that, right? You don't get sick days. So if something happens and, you got to take a day off because you're sick or there's an emergency, you're just not going to be bringing in any money for that day. So you got to have a plan ahead of time. Living paycheck to paycheck is one thing, but if you live in day to day and you don't have any type of extra money on hand just in case you can't work, that's just a disaster waiting to happen. And like I said, some people, they just aren't built for that. They are not built for that independence. Depending on your background, if you've worked a W-2 your entire life, going into gig work full time might be a shocker to you, because you might have these expectations that some things are going to work in similar ways. And they just don't. They just don't. You are solely responsible for everything, and you don't have anybody else to fall back on. So you got to make sure you got everything in check. And this is why you hear this terminology, the employee mentality, employee mindset. And, they're right. These people are absolutely right. People come in with these expectations that, a W-2 would give them normally, but it just doesn't happen when you are an independent contractor, a gig worker, right? And the only thing that kind of bugs me a little bit about it is that a lot of people like to group all gig workers that have some sort of complaint, no matter how big or small it is. They like to group them all together in this, bubble of, you have an employee mindset, you have an employee mentality. It's one thing to take a job and you're like, dang, I wish I got paid a little bit more for this, but it is what it is. Versus being mad at that job because you're like, man, this person ain't even tipping. No, I'm gonna take it anyway, blah, 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 whatever. Then you get mad and you either confront the customer or you tamper with the food to, make a point or whatever. You still complain at the end of the day, just mad because why is this pay so low? Why is it blah, 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 blah? I can't believe they paying us this little and this, and there's a huge difference between the two. And I really do hate being grouped up with those folks because we are not the same. We are not the same. It's perfectly normal to have a gig and then, you run into an issue or, it's a bigger order than you expected and you're like, dang, they kind of cheated me a little bit. I wish I got paid a little bit more for this. But then you're like, I took it, so I gotta suck it up. And that's what I would say a good gig worker does. Most of the good gig workers out there, they have that mindset. They're like, the pay could be better. In a lot of cases, we do wish that the pay was better. But yes, it is still up to us if we want to go ahead and take that job. So if you're taking a job to complain about it later, nah. That don't make any type of sense. Yeah, like I said, that employee mindset, employee mentality, I guess you can say it's different levels to it. Because I have a full-time job, so yes, I do think like an employee sometimes, but I do my best to keep it separated, and I only take the jobs that I feel are worth it. So, that's how I see it. Now, just to kind of wrap up, am I saying that, you shouldn't get into gig work because, it's really hard, some people aren't built for it? Yes and no. It's more or less a thing of just letting people know like, hey, this is what you're getting into. And, I don't want to say give a warning, but I think a lot of people get into gig work with, different expectations than what it actually is. They look at us and they say, oh my God, you can make, $50, $100 in an hour or whatever. And, who doesn't love money? Okay. They see that and they're like, I can do that too. That seems like a pretty easy job. The only thing I got to do is pick this up and drop it off. But like I said, it's a lot more to it. And like I said, that's just kind of what people have to understand. Whether you decide to do this full time or part time or every now and then, there's different levels as far as like how much you're going to have to apply in order to, be successful in this scene. Right. And, even myself, I use myself for an example. I don't see myself getting into gig work full time because, my situation is unique because, I have to take care of my mom and I kind of got to be available at all times. And some of y'all might be asking, wait, you have a W-2, so how are you able to be available like you are now? Like I said, my situation is unique. One, I have that seniority. I've been there for a while. And two, I have that reputation that, they know stuff is going to get done. Even though I might not be available to chat right at that moment, they know I'm going to follow back up and go ahead and get what I need to get done. Right? So like literally last week, I was in and out of the hospital with my mom. And because of the job that I have, I can just take my laptop with me wherever I need to go and continue to do my work. Right? If I was doing gig work full time, imagine if I got to take my mom to the hospital and I'm like, okay, just give me a minute. I got to finish up this catering order or whatever. I'm in the middle of doing this, or I got an order lined up later on. I'm going to go ahead and drop you off at the hospital, but I got to go back out and make this money because bills got to get paid. So no, I can't do that. And yes, I know it's flexibility and independence. You can work when you want to work, but since things happen so fast, I wouldn't be able to have that commitment to continue to do gig work full time. I would be dropping orders left and right, and I wouldn't be bringing in any money at all. So yes, I have to stick with a W-2 and continue to have that steady flow of income. And when I can do deliveries, I go ahead and do a delivery here and there as time allows, and I bring in my extra money. And that's pretty much it. So, like I said, everybody's situation is unique. But at the end of the day, you just have to be willing to put in that work. And like I said, I don't mean just hitting the road and doing that, because it all starts in the beginning of you doing your research, looking up the different apps. People are not going to hold your hand out here. Okay, you got to go ahead and get it yourself. And once you do get the information that you need, you got to go out there and apply it. We just talked about this situation with the migrants. I've seen a lot of people upset that they aren't able to get as much work as they had before. And that's just another challenge that you have to deal with. Are you willing to put in that work to overcome those obstacles? Whether it's the bots taking all the orders and your order count is going down, or the pay is getting slashed, whatever it is, you got to be willing to put in that work to overcome all of those obstacles. So yes, it does start at the very, very beginning. So you tell me, are you willing to put in that work? So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. So do you guys have any other reasons that somebody should not get into gig work? Let me know in the comments. Now, before I go, I have to remind you guys to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you do not miss a video. But I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. And as always, stay safe out there and keep grinding.